She thought the pink birthday dress was a simple gift. Until her daughter found another little girl's name stitched inside the collar and uncovered 3 years of family lies hidden behind a locked bedroom door.
In the heart of South Chicago lived a woman named Nia Brooks, 36 years old and sharper than winterglass. By day, she untangled crooked numbers for wealthy companies that prayed nobody looked too closely. But on the 8th birthday of her daughter, little Amora, a different kind of number slipped into her hands. It came stitched in white thread beneath the collar of a pink church dress mailed from her parents' house. The old folks did not attend the party. They only sent the box. Amora tore through the wrapping paper while children laughed in the backyard beneath strings of gold balloons. For 3 sweet seconds, joy lit her face brighter than sunlight on Lake Michigan. Then the child froze. Tiny fingers traced the embroidery hidden beneath the collar. "Who is Naomi?" she whispered softly, and the room suddenly felt colder than February brick. Nia took the dress carefully. The stitched name did not belong to her daughter. It belonged to her older sister, Naomi Brooks. A woman missing for nearly 4 years. A woman their mother still spoke about like she had only stepped outside for milk. Nia folded the dress with trembling hands and said nothing at all. That night, while the city slept under rain and sirens, Nia opened her laptop at the kitchen table. Beside her sat the pink dress like evidence waiting for trial. Her husband Malcolm watched quietly from the doorway while she pulled bank records one by one. Transfer histories, insurance statements, mortgage payments. And slowly, the numbers began whispering secrets. Nia had always been the dependable daughter, the one who solved problems before anyone else even admitted they existed. She learned that role growing up in a narrow brick house where praise belonged to Naomi and responsibility belonged to everybody else. If Naomi wanted something, their mother found a way. If Nia needed something, she had to defend the request like a lawyer before a judge. Survival made her useful. Their mother, Lorraine Brooks, carried Naomi in her heart like royalty. The woman dressed her older daughter in silk ribbons and sunflower perfume while Nia wore hand-me-down coats and polite silence. Their father, Curtis, rarely interrupted the imbalance. He loved peace more than fairness. So he sat quietly in his recliner while one child became sunlight and the other became labor. That was the architecture of the Brooks family. Only Grandma Odessa ever spoke the truth aloud. The old woman lived in a weathered apartment above a beauty supply shop on 79th Street. Her tongue stayed sharp enough to cut pride clean in half. "One day they gon' lean too hard on that child," she once warned Lorraine while peeling peaches at the sink. Nia had been 12 then. Too young to understand prophecy. At the far end of the upstairs hallway stood Naomi's bedroom. The door stayed closed like a church vault. Inside remained the lavender curtains, the perfume bottles, the old dance trophies, untouched by time. Nobody entered that room. Nobody spoke about it. The house carried it the way old families carry shame. Naomi had not disappeared all at once. She unraveled slowly through bad men, failed schemes, and borrowed money that never returned. She drained credit cards, abandoned apartments, and left unpaid debts behind like cigarette ash. Then one humid summer evening she vanished completely. Only one text reached Lorraine. "Don't look for me." The whole neighborhood heard Lorraine crying for weeks afterward. She called police stations, old boyfriends, churches, cousins in Memphis and Detroit. But deep beneath all that grief lived something strange. She never blamed Naomi. Not once. To Lorraine, the world had failed her golden child, never the other way around. After Naomi vanished, Nia began sending money every month. $800 for the mortgage. $300 for Curtis's heart medication. Extra cash for emergency doctor visits and broken plumbing and overdue taxes. Lorraine always called with trembling sorrow in her voice. And Nia always paid. Malcolm questioned it more than once. The numbers never quite made sense to him. Curtis's insurance should have covered most of those appointments. But Nia hated doubting her own blood. So she kept wiring money into a house built on secrets. Some people inherit land. Others inherit guilt. Little Amora was the only pure thing in Nia's life. A tall, curious child who collected stones from playgrounds and memorized bird names for fun. But Lorraine had begun saying unsettling things whenever the girl visited. "She looks just like Naomi did at that age. She smiles exactly like Naomi." That child was born carrying Naomi's spirit. At first, Nia ignored it. Families compare children all the time. But soon Lorraine started buying Amora lavender clothes identical to Naomi's childhood wardrobe. She braided the child's hair the same way every Sunday. She even called her Mama's little Naomi once by mistake. And the mistake lingered in the room too long. 3 days after the birthday party, Lorraine called again asking for more money. A specialist supposedly needed expensive heart scans for Curtis. But this time Nia checked the insurance portal herself. The real copay was $43, not $400. The lie sat on the screen glowing like fire. All night long, Nia built spreadsheets across the kitchen table. Columns, dates, transfers, claims. By midnight, over $40,000 had vanished into places Lorraine never mentioned. The arithmetic no longer looked messy. It looked deliberate. Malcolm watched her highlight records beneath the dim kitchen light. When she finally showed him the totals, he leaned back slowly. "Go to that house," he told her. "Check the room at the end of the hallway." The words settled heavy between them, because both of them already feared what waited there. The following Wednesday, Nia drove to her parents' home while they attended Curtis's therapy appointment. She entered using the spare key hidden beneath an old ceramic turtle beside the porch. The house smelled like lemon polish and old sorrow. Everything sat exactly where memory left it. But upstairs, Naomi's bedroom door stood slightly open, like it had been expecting company. The lavender room looked frozen in time until Nia opened the closet. 4 cardboard boxes sat stacked neatly inside. She opened the first and nearly collapsed. Children's dresses, tiny shoes, winter coats sized perfectly for an 8-year-old girl. Every single piece embroidered with one name: Naomi. The second box held bracelets, ribbons, and monogram sweaters. The third contained bank transfer receipts. Money sent regularly to Reno, Nevada. Recipient: Naomi Brooks. 3 years of payments. 3 years of lies. Every dollar Nia sent for medical emergencies had flowed westward like a hidden river. At the bottom of the folder rested a handwritten note from Lorraine. "Don't tell Nia. She wouldn't understand." Those words split something open inside her chest. Not grief. Not rage. Something colder. The death of illusion. Before she could leave, the front door downstairs opened. Lorraine's voice drifted through the hallway carrying grocery bags and false sweetness. When she saw Nia standing near Naomi's room, her face did not show surprise. Only recognition. Like a woman finally arriving at the ending she rehearsed for years. "You saw the clothes," Lorraine whispered. Then the truth spilled out slowly and terribly. Lorraine believed Amora could become Naomi's replacement. A second chance. A rewritten story. "She has Naomi's eyes," Lorraine said with frightening certainty. "When Naomi comes home, she'll see we kept her place waiting." The hallway itself seemed to recoil from the words. Curtis stood silently in the living room doorway. His shoulders sagged beneath decades of surrender. He knew about the money. He knew about the clothes. But exhaustion had turned him into a man who mistook silence for peace. Nia walked past both parents without another word. Back home, she laid every receipt across the kitchen table for Malcolm to see. $40,000. Dozens of lies. A closet built for replacing her daughter with a ghost. Malcolm listened quietly before asking one question. "What happens now?" Nia answered without hesitation. "The truth." For 4 straight nights, she built a file thicker than a courtroom ledger. Every payment. Every false emergency. Every rerouted transfer to Nevada. She highlighted each deception in red ink like wounds across paper. By Friday morning, the evidence sat bound inside a black folder heavy enough to break a family. That Sunday, Lorraine gathered relatives around the dining room table hoping to shame Nia back into obedience. Candles burned beside peach cobbler while cousins whispered uncertainly into their tea glasses. Lorraine painted herself as a suffering mother abandoned by an ungrateful child. But before pity could settle across the room, Nia opened the black folder. Then she placed the pink birthday dress beside the dessert tray. The stitched name faced everyone. Naomi. Silence swallowed the table whole. Grandma Odessa adjusted her glasses slowly. An aunt covered her mouth in horror. Nia laid out every receipt with the calm precision of a woman who spent her life auditing lies. Curtis finally admitted he had known everything. And Lorraine, stripped of performance, shouted the truth she had hidden for decades. Naomi was special. The room changed after that. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just the slow collapse of a story nobody could believe anymore. Nia announced the mortgage payments were cancelled. The insurance support was gone. And nobody would ever turn Amora into another woman's shadow again. Weeks later, peace returned quietly to Nia's home on the south side. Amora started school wearing a yellow dress stitched carefully with her own name in blue thread. The child smiled proudly when she traced the letters with her fingertips. Outside, autumn winds carried dead leaves through the streets of Chicago. And somewhere far away, an old hallway still held a closed lavender door. But Nia no longer feared what stood behind it.